5 minutes late. So what we are going to do today is go live, and I'm going to wait until everybody, or at least more people, are here. We have adjusted to where the disclaimer, there's going to be like a timer to remind people what this topic is about. And today I'm going to talk about how to tell if you have split personalities. So ever since that we have gone public about being a split identity, this is Jenna, by the way, we have had a lot of followers and a lot of fans reach out to us through Snapchat. They've let us know that, I'm going to push that forward. I've answered messages where people say, I think I may have split personalities too. And my response is, yeah, you probably do. And I am going to be hosting this mainly because it has been something that I have so badly been wanting to talk about. If you don't know about us, we have split personalities. There are different identities, and a lot of people have asked us, what are you? Like, what do you have? Do you have DID? And when we first started finding out about ourselves, we didn't know exactly what was going on. We had heard of DID before, but it never registered to us that we could possibly be someone with that. And so this is Sky. I'm going to take over real quick. So, my knowledge with dissociative identity disorder is that you start off as a person, a single-minded person, and something really traumatic happens to you at a young age, which causes your brain to disassociate and split so that the rest of you can move on and keep going and survive. So we got to really wondering about our existence. We thought, I went to therapy about it. Radio went, actually. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. I was very upset. We were switching around so much because of such high stress. And I ended up going to the nearest hospital, and I checked in and I said, something's wrong with me. I wake up every morning and I'm told of things that I've said or done. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. I said I got in this motorcycle accident back in 2017. And ever since then, I have such memory gaps that I can't explain. And I said, I don't think that's normal. So she ended up diagnosing us as depressed. Yeah, as depressed. Which now we know that is a misdiagnosis, where we're not depressed. We're actually very happy. We enjoy living. I did say some alarming things to her. I questioned the purpose. I questioned the quality of living every day. If every day I switch and I change and I don't remember, to me, I just thought I had a brain injury and I would forget things. So what was really happening is that when we stress, we change and we have separate memories. So since going public, what Jenna was saying was that we had a lot of people message us and reach out and ask questions, which is good. We definitely welcome that. We don't really get offended with any questions. We do kick off the disrespectful people. Like, we're not gonna put up with that. And it's interesting how offended people are with different beliefs, with different ideas. So our existence has upset quite a few people. or has just been completely blatantly ignored. I surface up to protect our Snapchat account. We have a lot of people that friend request us, that add us, that try to talk to us. Obviously, we're female, we're attractive, we're pretty. We have a lot to talk about. We're single. So it's very interesting how people try to cross those lines, and when I explain and warn them, like, it needs to be kept platonic. This is just how I and the rest of our unit, our system, filters people. Let's see. So I went ahead and I wrote down a list of things just in case we got sidetracked. But the whole purpose of this is to kind of properly introduce ourselves and let you know exactly what we think we are and our theory about really life. So dissociative identity disorder, as Sky was saying, is commonly believed to be like one person who's had a traumatic life that has split. And it's an interesting concept. I can see where it happens because it is true in the sense that when stress happens, we do switch, we take over. The stronger person in us will handle the situation. Or sometimes if we're really confused, we don't really know who we are at the time. And before we found out that we had split personalities, split identities, the switching was so confusing. So it was hard to continue living life not understanding why we moved around so much, why we had no problem making friends, but just had a hard time keeping them. Like, for some reason, the people that we connected with, we don't really remember why we stopped talking to them. There's been times where, I'm going to switch over to the narrator. Okay, the narrator. It's a weird name, I know, but that's just how I address myself. I'm not the narrator of this life. It's just easier for me to talk about everybody else's life since I am actually in the center, and it's so easy for me to redirect who takes over or what has happened, because with Jenna's help as our we have sessions with her just like this. We record ourselves, we talk about our day. It's been really helpful, and it's been a way to reflect on ourselves and realize that the people who come to me or us and talk about their problems, I surface up and I relate to them so easily, because when I first surfaced up, I was the reason why we were able to identify ourselves. I have the ability to feel, to sense, to see, like the colors, the auras, the energy levels. So out of everybody, I am very spiritual, and I'm connected in a different level than what most people, I guess not most people, I don't know. I guess I just take the time to really listen, and that's something that I'm super good at. So as our friends talk about their problems, whether it be relationships, work, family, I started listening, and I realized that as they talk to us, they surface all of us. They surface individual ones. If it's about relationships, people know that they can come to me and talk to me about their love life, what they're lacking, what they enjoy. Like, I connect with people at a very different level than what other people do. I'm not a surface-based person. So if you were to look at my ex-boyfriends, for instance, some people in my past would look at me and look at them and think, why? You don't really have a specific taste in guys here, do you? And it's because I'm demisexual. Demisexual means that you fall in love with the person from who they are inside, not necessarily aesthetics. So I don't want to say I'm not shallow. I do know, like, attractive people, but just it takes someone with split personalities a while to really find someone. So where are we going with this? We got a little sidetracked. We always will. That's going to be the norm here. We're going to switch around so much. So right now I'm trying to go over just several different highlights to see if you yourself also have split personalities. I was trying to say that as we went public, so many people messaged us saying, like, I think I have split personalities based off of the stories that you say, your lifestyle, your conflicts in life. It seems like I also have people inside of me that think differently. And I'm here to say that a lot of people do, and it's a matter of figuring yourself out. I have a theory. I want to call it split theory. I have a split theory that I think a lot of people have split personalities and just don't know it. I think it takes a while to figure yourself out. And here's a question you can ask yourself and see if maybe any of these match you. Do you look at your history, like, as an adult now, do you look back in your life when you were in high school or in middle school and you think, like, oh my God, I went through a phase? Like, you're with your friends, you're going through pictures, and you look back and you're like, you cringe. You're like, I cannot believe that I wore that, or I used to do that. There was, yeah, I would just look at old pictures and just be like, it's not me as my friends know me as. And the one that she's particularly talking about is myself. So when I was in high school, or just even all my life, see, I've been in and out of life all throughout our 26 years of living. But I dress very differently compared to how Jenna dresses. I had all the piercings. Typically I wear a lot of black, but I guess you would say my favorite place to shop at is Hot Topic. So if you've ever been to a Hot Topic, that's basically the grunge kind of peppy glitter goth girl look that I go with. I'm very high energy. Like, I am fun. My personality is very outgoing and bubbly, and I've always been told by my friends that, the very first time I met you, I judged you. You just look, you look kind of scary, but you're really not. And I'm like, gee, thanks. And I think that's a huge thing with me, is that I surface up with friends. Like, my main goal in life is to make as many friends as possible. I want to connect with everybody. So, if I'm getting so good at this. I know that we're supposed to get on track about giving examples about knowing if you're a split identity. If you're a split identity, you probably have the same troubles that I do. And this could even be pretty girls. Like, all the pretty girls that I'm talking to, you know what I'm talking about. But sometimes you're so, this is how I am. I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive. I see such good in everybody. So to me, I feel like, if someone's upset or angry, then something's bothering them, and I just don't understand them yet. So a lot of people would describe me as definitely an extrovert. I'm always all up in your face, and I'm just very happy and bubbly, and I can't tell whenever I'm around introverts because I talk so much. I've always been told that I'm the loudest. I need to slow down on my talking. So I'm very different compared to some of the others. And the struggles that I went through was that when I was in high school, I was actually picked on a lot, believe it or not. But my others weren't. So I had a really horrible experience with high school. I hated school. Like, I would try to learn it, and I'm just like, oh no, like, what did I just read? I would read sentences, I would read books, and whenever I would finish a page, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I just read. And so I would have to reread it again, but instead of her rereading it, I would focus, this is Sky, I would focus and reread because her frustration of being unsuccessful brought me into serious mode, which is just me. I'm really good at school. So I was in all these honors classes, and to me, education has always been like my top priority. I wanted to be an ophthalmologist, so I went to optometry school. Struggles with having split personalities is that, for me personally, we kept moving around a lot, and my number one goal is my career. So I found myself constantly pulling out of school, transferring to all kinds of other different universities and colleges every time we moved. I found myself wondering, like, why am I doing this? I'm literally not getting credit, and then the new places that I'm having to go to, I have to get their school curricular credits, and so I was taking these dumb classes that I felt I was just wasting time doing. Had I stayed in one spot and graduated, I wouldn't have to redo certain classes all the time. But I couldn't understand why, because I was dead set on this. I was completely fine with not being in a relationship and just, enjoying my school friends. Like, I loved having my study groups. I had study buddies. Like, I really found out that I was so good in school when I started going to college and really working around my own schedule. It was hard and difficult going to school in such a diverse environment. I know Pixie wanted to kind of explain a little more, but when you have split personalities and you're around so many different stimulants, whether it be that you're good at music or sports, people with split personalities tend to be geniuses and really good at something, at actually a lot of things. People who are extremely talented, like artists or writers, people who have theories, people with split personalities typically enjoy learning, enjoy constantly doing something. But people with split personalities also tend to be misdiagnosed with depression or bipolar disorder. And it may not even necessarily be a misdiagnosis. Again, I'm not a doctor. This is Jenna. Sorry. But I have this theory that all the stress that you go through in life, again, whether it be with your friends, your family, relationships, your job. Everything that just doesn't sit well with you is a clash moment with your splits. And we call that split clashing when that happens with us. And because we have segmented memories, it is hard for us to be able to know what happened, to register. We fill in the gaps of the things that we don't remember, and we just assume. So that's where a lot of miscommunication comes from, is when you just uncontrollably switch and you pick up from someone else's life and drama, and you find yourself using words like, I'm not in the mood right now, or I'm not in the right mind frame. So for instance, I work with a lot of people who do tell me that they have depression. And they let me know that they're just unmotivated. They used to love doing certain things, and they just can't seem to find the passion right. But that doesn't mean that they are unmotivated people. I've spoke to a lot of people who have been sad and lost, and what they really need to do, and what I've been doing and helping them, is asking them the right questions. I'm like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about the things right now that come to your mind. When you're happy, when you're finally relaxed, you will get these sudden moments where you laugh. You're like, I remember something really funny. And what happened with these random moments that make you remember certain things is that your mind is finally relaxed to where all the walls are put down. And then you can use your whole brain. You have different personalities shooting and firing off certain happy memories that trigger. And then you share these experiences with the people that are around you. You let them know who you are, and it's really awesome. And I know this because when I hang out with people, when I talk to them, when I listen to them, and they tell me about these things, I see them change. I realize that I'm not talking to a single-minded person. I'm talking to someone who has deliberately just ignored their others, who has let certain identities completely take over. And what's happening, this displacement in life that they're feeling, this stagnant being, is this unhappiness that they don't know what's happening, is that whoever is taking over right now doesn't realize that a switch has happened. And let's use me as an example. I went missing for a while. About me, I love cosplay. I love sewing. I guess I'm the only one who actually is really good at drawing. I know there's a few of us who are good at drawing, but it's just a matter of when we have the time to do certain things. So our last video, we described about how to be a successful split. And some of the things that we had to acknowledge was each other and our own times. So something that I was telling one of my new friends that I made today on Snapchat, that we were talking about My Hero Academia. I love watching anime. I don't think that we actually watch any as consistently as I'd like. I would say maybe an average once or twice a month, which is a lot less than what would make me happy. So I know that we're currently going through a lot with the move. So prioritizing desires and things that really make me happy has been pushed aside. So for that example, identities that have their needs be pushed aside and disregarded and ignored for a long period of time. When you look at someone and are hanging out with someone, you, instead of seeing it that way, what you visibly see is someone crack. They break down, they like flip, on you, and you tell them, why didn't you tell me this shit bothered you? Like, you just let it, like, bottle up. And it's really strange to think of it that way. You're like, I didn't realize that these certain things bother me. I didn't realize that certain things you did kind of annoyed me. Or like, it just, when you're in the wrong mind frame, it can be really confusing. So probably the easiest example, we'll use Pixie again. I make a lot of friends, and I am extremely, like, gung-ho about making as many friends and touching hearts and helping as much as possible. But sometimes, a lot of times actually, my friends will want to be more than just friends. Maybe they'll flirt with me or hit on me. And so the rest of us kind of take over, and we realize that the people that, you know, are supposed to be Pixie's friends, we have no problems being friends with them too. But in the past, we've had to actually run away from guys who have come to us very strongly and just, like, vomit their desires of marriage, and it really threw us off. Obviously, the discomfort it started with Pixie because she no longer was able to feel comfortable enough to continue talking with them as friends, because the way that they interacted with us brings out other things of us. So, for instance, conversations with me will typically revert to maybe real estate or being a mom. That's something that I always want to do. I definitely want to be a mom. So, you know, I relate with people that maybe my others don't relate to. Just like I will probably never talk about anime. Honestly, the one who comes out with that is clearly Michaela. And I come out when we talk about schooling or science. I'm really, I guess out of everybody, I worry the most when it comes to perception of how others may view us and our sanity. That's the only thing that I'm mainly concerned about. But I feel that the numbers also show we're very successful as we are as individuals. The more predominantly that we finally came out as who we really are, the less drama and clashing that we had with each other. We were able to figure out each other's comfort levels. We realized that some of what some of us did for our jobs, and just like the people that we hung out with or talked to or associated with, were very much people that, you know, like, for instance, me, I would not associate with quite a few of these people's friends, clients, customers. I like to associate with very intelligent people who are open-minded. So conversations that they have with the people that they associate with probably wouldn't draw me out. The ones that do draw me out, the people that I personally associate with, may not necessarily jive with everybody else. I know that, let Pixie take over because it's, so, I have hung out with Sky's friends, her school friends, and those are the ones that just kind of don't really like me so much. This is again where I had issues in high school because people looked at me like I was really stupid. Like, I was very picked on in the sense that the people, our GT students, would be like, God, you're so stupid. And I'm just like, eh. Like, I was not like Sky. Anything that I tried to learn, I couldn't retain it. And I didn't realize that as I was the one trying to learn it, she was the one actually learning it. My mental problems. I probably have attention deficit disorder, but then again, if you look at us as a whole, does that mean all of us do? Or is it just me? Because I'm the only one, I want to say, regardless if anyone else actually took over for the whole day, you would think like, wow, that person's really put together. She's so focused. You know, she can clean and multitask. Like, I'm over here describing Rhea, for instance. And then you come to me. Whenever I take over, my family calls me flighty. They're like, you're just all over the place. You can't focus. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, my attention is woo. Like, it's that. But just because I get so excited, and so like I'm like a dog, I guess. You tell me a command, and I'm like, okay. Like, I understand where my weaknesses are, and it's focus, attention, and patience. I'm very impatient. I'm on the moment, spur of the moment. So, if you find yourself different around your friends as you are instead of maybe strangers or your family, I guess that's basically like I am always who I am whenever I'm around people. Just different people treat me differently. So strangers may think that I'm just a ditzy blonde. My honor student peers didn't think I was very smart, so they didn't think very nicely of me. Let's see, whenever I got disciplined or in trouble because one of them did something wrong, typically I surface up and I start crying, and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I'm sorry, because like I don't ever learn from my lessons because it wasn't me. I didn't know about whatever happened. So I typically take the fall sometimes whenever we get grounded. So, or in trouble. No, I'll take over for this one. Okay, so another really good indicator that you might have split personalities is if you use different names on your computer. So there are some people known as catfish, catfishers, or maybe you have a different persona. You are on different vlogging sites, or maybe you're an artist or a writer, or your social media uses a different gamer tag name. I feel like a lot of people are very different on the computer as they are in person. So you can be so brave, you can be just amazing, just like a full character. Let me switch over. You just, a lot of people who are online can be themselves. And that's what we like about Twitch, is that we have been messing around with the system and how to use it. But when we first started this, the whole purpose was to kind of explain to people and show people who we are, how we view ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. I think, whoa, a lot of people that just added us. So if you've ever messaged us, you know that we do respond within 24 hours. It just kind of takes a while sometimes because we do keep really busy. There are 19 of us and growing. And I say growing, it's not necessarily growing. It's just a matter of being able to find ourselves again. So I'm going to look at my pad. I don't know where we all took off at. Signs, misdiagnosis, stress, honesty. So honesty, the best way to figure yourself out is just to give yourself some you time. If you find yourself very stressed, you just need to figure out who you are at that moment. tell yourself that whatever you decide to do, even if you have a billion things to do and you can't seem to focus on the one thing that you really on anything that you need to do, just relax and try to figure out. I think someone's at my door. That's really weird. It must be really windy. I'm sorry, we just moved here, and with the lighting, we cut the light, so, yeah, so, collect yourself right then and there. Try to figure out and ask yourself, what can I do right now? What do I want to do right now to make me happy? And so if it means playing video games to get your mind off of whatever's troubling you, if it means directly figuring out what's troubling you and tackling that first, it really depends on the type of personality you are. So some of us, like myself, feel the need to talk about problems when it happens. I feel that logically it makes sense to be able to communicate that there's an issue, to give some solutions, and to weigh it out. Like, I personally believe that I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where we went to bed angry at each other. So that's just kind of how I view relationships with people, friends in general. But there are some who handle stress differently. And because they handle things differently, they, like, my personality clashed with their personality. You know, there are some identities that will get angry and shut down. And, not shut down, definitely not shut down. I'll take over. I'll tell you how I handle things. If people annoy me or bother me, I don't let it get it to the point where it upsets me. There's hardly very much that really upsets me from what people say or do. I've been told that I'm a sociopath. I've always been told that. And I grew up thinking that something's wrong with me, something's mentally wrong with me, because, you know, I've not only been told this 2 or 3 times by different people. I've been told some things that, you know, I'm just like, meh. And it really made me question myself, because I thought the things that people have told me, they told me in anger. They told me, like, sentences before I completely cut them off. Because to me, I'm like, you've made me cry, you've made me feel uncomfortable, you do this. You know, I am weighed down with the burden and knowledge of all the flaws that have summed up to pull me out. And it's not that I'm an evil person. I know that before we found out about dissociative identity disorder, the definition, and how we figured ourselves out and what we diagnosed. I mean, this is our theory. We have a split theory, and we are split separate lives. But before we found anything out about us, we thought at first that I was definitely a bad alter. To be completely honest, when I took over, I cut people off so easily. I'm just the biggest bitch to people who just cross me and I want nothing to do with. So the people that I've had to deal with are a lot of stalkers, because they just don't accept no for an answer. I suppose if I could have a career, which I might pursue it, who knows, I tend to always bring legality, the power of understanding where people can and can't cross lines. I like knowing that. I like being able to firmly stand up to someone and say, what you did was not right, it's not legal, you know, these are the consequences. I paper trail things. So I've had to, like, anytime we've ever had to file for any protection orders, it's always been me taking care of it, stuff like that. So it's not that I'm a sociopath. I've come to terms that that's not the case. What's happening is that the people that I'm cutting off because I see all the negative, they have associated themselves with my others. So, we're trying to think of there's so many people that we've cut off in our past. We've re-added everybody in our contact list for Snapchat. We've let them know about ourselves as split identities, and we've properly reintroduced ourselves and talked about our memories we've had with each and every person that we've ever interacted with. We let them know that the conversations about these certain topics were with these identities, and this, like, you were friends with me, but the argument that we had was because you were talking to someone else and they didn't value your friendship. So it's been very confusing trying to build the bridges back with everybody we've ever connected with, or even the new people who just talk to us. They're like, wow, that's so cool. You know, like, it's so easy to make a connection with more than one of us, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always the best. We are slowly trying to figure out the best way to go living. We like being able to communicate with our fans, our followers. We do like that. Unfortunately, not everyone is going to match with everybody, and so we just ask that instead of trying to force certain identities to talk to you and personalities, it will happen authentically. It will happen naturally if you naturally click with us. We're not going to continue to put ourselves through awkward hangouts, I should say, or make ourselves be around people or do certain things when we know we are not currently the right person. So that's always the hardest part, is that when you are a split personality, you could one day wake up and not feel motivated to go into work. For those of you who find yourself having it very difficult to desire to want to be around certain people that you know that you care about, that you know that you love, it doesn't make sense how one day you were so passionate about this job, about these people, and then the next day you're just like, it's not you, you've done nothing, I don't understand why I'm like this, I'm not in the mood, I'm tired, maybe I'm hungry. There are certain things that will trigger and stress people. It could be hunger, it could be discomfort with trust, maybe personal issues, maybe physical issues. I know that there have been a lot of people who cannot work out because of COVID, because of injuries, and it's really affected that person. Someone who felt at one point that they were very strong now is forced to be careful and basically crippled in their mind. And so it really changes a person's outlook. It changes their mood. It really changes, and it affects, and it piles up. It builds up this pent-up stress that the rest of us aren't even aware is going on. So, let's see. Mood, mind frames. I guess that's mainly what we wanted to talk about, is that there are a lot of signs that you can find about yourself that you could actually very much be just like us. You can look at yourself in your past history and cringe and think like that is so embarrassing. But in reality, think about it and be honest with yourself. When you were growing up and you went through that phase, were you embarrassed of what you wore? Were you embarrassed about the friends you hung out with? Did they make you happy? If the answer is yes, then it's not that you went through a phase, it's that you were just a different person at that time. We're still learning about when we switch, what triggers us, how we think, but every day when we do learn more about ourselves, it becomes more and more clear. Like I said before, there are 19 of us so far, but there are more, I'm very sure. They just haven't surfaced up yet because we need to go out and re-stimulate ourselves into the activities that they used to be into. So if you would like to rekindle with your other identities, just think about things that used to make you happy. Was it playing video games? Was it skateboarding? Was it playing a certain instrument? Was it drawing? Do you find yourself that here's another one, I don't know, maybe someone else talked about it. I feel like we talked about this before, but if not, I'll just skim over it real quick. People who are very extremely talented can only seem to be in the right mind frame if maybe they dose themselves with legal marijuana if it's in your state, or maybe other stimulants. Even coffee can put you in the right mind frame, or scents like candles. Other things, yoga gets me in my right mind frame. But basically, to get to the mind frame that you need to be, whoever you are, you just need to figure out what it is at that moment that you want to do. Don't think about the things that you need to do. Let that be a motivator as to what you need to do next, but make yourself who you are currently happy. Listen to yourself. Answer your own questions. What is it that is making me upset? What is it? Sometimes I'm surrounded by people who are frazzled, and I have to ask them, what's upsetting you? Are you hungry? Are you hurting? Is it finances? Is it, there's so many different factors in life that really stress everybody out. There are different theories about the brain in general and sleep. So, for instance, I can see that this is a very popular belief. Some people believe, and scientists have said and studied, and I don't know how they're proving this, that the human brain can only use like 10%. That's typically what the average person uses for their brain, is 10%. And that just sounds really weird. And I fully believe now, based off of our own personal experiences, I feel like we are definitely using and have the ability to really take advantage of how our brain is decompartmentalized. I think that once we were able to recognize who we are as individuals, we were able to form a team and really just be super productive. From a stranger's point of view, had they not known about SplitLifestyles and only known me as my legal name, which is Sky, they would have thought, Sky, you are a very productive human being. I like you, let's get married. I'm a very productive human being, yes, but these people who could see wow, you make a lot of money, you're going to school to be the youngest ophthalmologist ever, and that's not even true either. That was my dream, that was my goal. I'm obviously definitely not ever going to be the youngest, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to be one in general. Right now we are dealing with so much on our plate, and honestly, I feel that with our new philosophy in life, if I were to open the practice that I had always dreamed of having, I would be taking a step back, not a step forward. I think that time and time again we've proven with ourselves to be both spontaneous but also with schedule. So we've made it a point not to bind ourselves with a normal 9-to-5 job because we can't always control who is going to take over, and it's not fair for the current identity to have to work another person's job that they know nothing about or that they're not passionate about. It's not fair to push these responsibilities and have these high demands and expect the others to just go with it. What happens is that maybe something I value, like my schooling, Pixie doesn't understand any of it, and so she fails it for me. So it was very confusing with our friends to be like, that's so weird. Like in college, they would tell me, you taught me how to do this, and here I am trying to teach you, and I'm, and for me, I'm like, I don't know, I just don't remember. So, and where's my name? Here it is. So, with us, I think, because for me, we've always been aware of each other. And that's the really weird thing. I thought at first, and all of us were on the same page with this. In 2017, we got into a motorcycle accident. And I woke up with full amnesia, or so I thought. And the things that I was told about myself, they sounded familiar. And so the person who was telling me was convincing me and slowly bringing back memories and triggers of everyone else being like, okay, that sounds familiar, whatever. But for me, I'm considered an age slider. So I jumped back into existence in 2017. So it was like my very first time living again since 2010. My age ranges, my ages are 14 and 19. And I know that's a really strange concept, but when I surfaced up, I could only remember memories of when I used to live with my parents, of when I used to play video games. That was something that I did. I used to play online games, and I had my friends online. But I didn't only just have my friends online. When I had access to a computer, like we all had our own Facebook account, and we communicated with each other through that. So every day, like I specifically had memories of being associated with everyone else. So does that mean that I'm the original and that everybody else is just made up in my head? Or does that mean that because I'm the happiest, that I am the easiest to communicate with everybody and can remember these things? Like, I feel that I have selective memory, but it's not even, I don't know, it's by agreeing, not even necessarily by choice. There are things that are just censored that just preserves my innocence. I don't see or learn about certain things because the others take over. Or no, that was Pixie Squeaks. She is my 14 version. So I'm Android 19. I don't know if you guys are into like Dragon Ball Z or anything, but I joke with my friends. I'm like, so I am 19. I do understand. I tend to cuss. I know a few of us do cuss, and some of us definitely don't. But again, I'm still Pixie. Just like seconds ago, I was her. But she comes out mainly, I guess, or maybe I revert when I get very, very excited or I make new friends. But I am aware. I am aware of things that that do happen. But I guess I just kill people with kindness. I still have that hope that people are actually really good inside. It's just a matter of figuring yourself out and just having the right people that you surround yourself with. And I think that that's what everyone is to me. They're the right people that I surround myself with. And so as a successful and still learning group of us, we are picking and choosing the people that we do surround ourselves with. We also want to make aware that it's not crazy to think that you might actually have split identities as well. I mean, how different are we compared to you when it comes to life experiences? I'm sure everyone has gone through heartbreaks where you feel that you're in this amazing relationship and you're so happy, and then all of a sudden that cupcake phase goes away and you panic and you don't understand, and there's this insecurity and jealousy and confusion. Like, I mean, personally for us, we've been cheated on a few times. More than not, I would say. So our personal experience with dating has not been very successful because we do keep so busy. So it makes dating someone like us very easy to sneak around on. But with our failures and sadness in lives, we know now that we recognize who was living those moments, who felt passionate about those things, why when maybe someone accepted a job offer and was so excited and felt like this is it, this, like, I feel like if you are someone who has changed your degree, who has changed jobs, who moves around a lot, like, you are probably just like us and you don't know it. So again, this is just Jenna's split theory. We are going to continue writing about this. I currently am in the process of writing different chapters in our lives. I'd like to continue writing a book. We're going to be drawing about it, illustrating it. In fact, I think it was yesterday morning or maybe this morning. I used Twitch and I looked at the art section and I reached out to someone and he was drawing, and I guess he's an artist of several people. Like, when I jumped in on this conversation, when I subscribed to him, I introduced myself. I think at the time they were talking about he drew Belle Delphine, and because I don't know if I'm the artist out of all of us or if several of us are, we just really haven't had the time to sit down and draw. We know that River can't draw. She sucks at it. She's tried. Yeah, I had an order come through, and I had to draw and try to sew, but I don't sew, and I don't know how to draw either, so it didn't work out really well. But that's when I realized, I was just like, I don't understand. I'm good at this, but I guess I'm just not in the right mind. I can't do this. Maybe I need to get drunk. I don't understand. Which I don't drink, but I just knew that I was stressed and I felt that stress was keeping me from being able to focus. But it turns out she didn't need to focus. She just didn't need to be herself. So, I mean, I'm already committed with trying to open up my own TikTok, which I created one, but because we're still kind of getting settled in right now, I have not been able to watch anime, so organized my area yet. So it's still, I'm still on the back burner of my own hobbies. But I guess if it comes down to it, if narrator can't draw, I could draw for us. I know how to draw anime. That's, that seems like something I could help out with. But again, that goes with the respecting each other's time. She feels passionate about talking about our lives, and we all do. I feel like we all will be included when it comes to re-experiencing and writing down and expressing our lives to our viewers and our watchers and readers, but our skills are just very different and they change. And apparently same with our health. So that was something that we were recently also finding out. One of us could be sick and the rest of us take over and we're completely fine. So again, it's a very, very strange concept about what the heck we are. But we're still learning. If you've made it this far and we haven't lost you and you have any questions, you can always write them down. We aren't answering them live right now, but we will go over them later and we'll talk about them the next time around, depending on how well this goes. And I guess essentially the way that we would best describe ourselves is that we were born with just the amount of identities that we have in us, because we all have memories at such very young ages. For me, I've told my friends this before. I'm the oldest identity so far, and I'm Rhea, and I take over and I clean a lot whenever I'm out. I'm typically in the kitchen or going grocery shopping or doing laundry, things like that. So I identify as definitely older. I say 36. So my very first memory was I was in diapers. I was very young, and I remember it crystal clear. I remember walking out of the bedroom from the apartment that my mother was in, and she was listening to her record player. She was dancing, and I remember looking up at her and thinking, that's my mom. And I surprised myself because I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is my first thought, and I have a brain. Like, I felt like I was so smart and intelligent. My mom told me I was walking at a very young age. So to me, I specifically have memories and thoughts of telling myself and challenging myself. I think Sky and I are very similar with the sense that we challenge ourselves, because I would catch myself thinking, if I went back in time and talked to myself, like, that would be really cool. I would wonder if my future self would think that she's smarter than my current self, because I just felt like I was way above the people and the peers that I were around. It was very strange. I started to disassociate myself with really talking to people my own age. I would play Scrabble with my parents and my grandma. I would knit, and so I would only really hang out with adults. I felt that people my own age didn't really connect with me. I felt that I was way above them, advanced, but I didn't look down on them as they were dumb. They just didn't interest me. So whenever I lived my life, I was talking and associating myself with adults. And I didn't think anything too weird of it. I didn't feel too lonely. But that's just who I am, and those are my memories. And so, because I had the very first cognitive memory in English, that's really weird. Does that make me the original? I don't think so. Jenna has her own theories about maybe we're connected with reincarnation. our sleep cycles. Like, we all have very vivid memories with Pixie growing up. But how is that possible? We hung out with each other maybe as we slept, subconsciously. We, like, growing up, this is Sky. Growing up, I remember finding out about the Facebooks. I was ashamed and freaked out a bit. Again, I thought maybe I was schizophrenic. I totally dismissed it. I deleted all the fake accounts of all these other people that I would have these conversations with that I wouldn't even remember having. But I could clearly see that I have a Facebook with my name on it, but I also had all these other conversations with these other accounts that I clearly made because it's on my computer. I didn't remember ever talking to these people, so it scared me. At the time, Michaela and I were at war about our careers. She wanted to be an actress, and I fear judgment from other people, and people's opinions really weigh on me. So that was something where I was just like, instead of, and it's not even necessarily judgment of others, I want to say more of the outcome of success, because I am a person of reason. My type of humor is very logical, and I like things like the series Rick and Morty or something that I would watch. I also watch The Good Doctor, because you kind of have to know science to really get some of these jokes, and they're so funny. But I decided in 7th grade that I did not want to be an actress anymore. I wanted to be an optometrist. I told my parents, I'm like, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay. But I mean, later down the road, they could see my struggles. They can, they would watch Pixie cry over homework. I'd beat myself up. Yeah, our parents got a lot of mixed signals, because there was just so much that I wanted to do, that I wanted to be involved with. I wanted to surround myself with friends. I wanted to be the smartest person. I wanted to, maybe not be the smart. I was never cocky, but they just, to them, they could see their daughter going through these crazy ups and downs. And I'm sure it confused them. I'm sure it made them think like, ugh, she's such a good-hearted person, but then again, she can also be like just so much. There was a few of us that have clashed with our parents. There's been a lot of times where we've cut our family off, here and there. Not everyone, just certain members. Like my older sister, for instance. We tried to tell her. There's been so many different identities that tried to approach her. Especially, I think Jenna, Sky, and Pixie tried to talk to her and tell her that, I have different people. And just her responses were very negative, and I surfaced up with a negative, and I'm just like, ugh. You're such a garbage human being. You're so unhappy. I say things that I truly mean. I don't regret what I do say to people. And again, because I'm brutally honest, I give constructive criticism, I am true to how I feel and how I handle people, it comes off as really mean and cold-hearted. I know that I probably hurt the most people, I would say. And I don't regret what I do. That's a thing about being a split personality, is that when you decide and make a decision, whoever you are, you don't regret it. Yeah, so many of us have made very, very life-changing decisions and changed courses so dramatically. And the only regret that we have constantly is just why? Why did I change? Like we miss old habits, we miss old things in our lives in the past. So it bothers our other identities that we weren't even aware of, that we were changing their courses. So now finding a good support system in yourself, and then finding people who are accepting and understanding and can communicate with you the way that you need to be talked to, is a really good start. I know that when we have talked to our parents about this or our family members, some people were like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And but others ask not to talk about it. So to respect their wishes, we just don't bring it up, but we also don't get to talk to them as much as we wish we could. So it's kind of hard. There's a lot of clashing interests when it comes to friends, family, friends, and fans, and who we spend our time with and prioritize. It's another thing, trying to prioritize everything. When you have 19 different identities and we each write down the top 3 prioritizing things that we feel, you've got over 100 different things that need to be done. Like I can guarantee, like I personally have my own things that I need to do. I need to start writing. I need to start learning to draw. And I'd really like to get affiliated with Webtoon or other things like that. Like these are things that I personally need to do as narrator. I need to tell our story. With Jenna, my thing is I want to go to school. I want to be a psychology major. Maybe like I really feel interested in being a therapist, or at least a split life specialist. I feel like that is something that I'm really good at. The friends that have come to us for any advice, I'm able to, like, we're all able to talk to them and hang out with them, but then I'm able to say like, oh, so there is this one who thinks this way, who values these things, who is upset about these things. I help them identify themselves between. So if I'm able to do that with people who are so stressed that they have these diagnoses or these dilemmas, why can't I help normal people, single-minded people, like celebrities, even like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian? I was reading their conflicts, and I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, their splits are clashing. Like there is, and obviously we don't know them. We don't know any of them, but based off of our personal experiences and lives and views, Jenna thinks that it's really beneficial to help people if they want it. Like I guess she wants to be a helper of anything. People who are going through relationship problems, friendship problems. Like I immediately surfaced up when I think of Kim Kardashian, because she works in, like, she's a mom and she loves her kids. I know that there's a daughter. I know that she was so angry at Kanye for spilling the beans on their daughter and keeping her or not. So that really hurt her as a mother. But she was also such a very proud, beautiful model. She not only, like, she worked in the adult industry, but was she ashamed of it at the time? No. And I think that as a mother, that she has changed. And I wonder if when I become a mom, will that mean I become a different identity, or will I still feel the same? So it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like I would probably be the same person, because the whole reason why I even do any of my jobs, I work at a bar, is because I'm saving up because I need a surrogate mom. I can't have kids. So, and again, that's kind of my whole goal in life. And with her and her relationship problems, I feel like I could, like the rest of us, would be able to tell and identify certain things that are happening. Like, obviously, Kanye was very much in love with the one who was the sexy, strong, confident person. And then he wifed her. And then, but she's more than just that. She's a businesswoman, like, and same with Kanye. Kanye is like an artist and he does so much as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all he is. He's also a father. And with his new leaf changing, he changed. He let someone else take over who was very wanted to be a better example for his daughter. So whoever the artist rapper was over here, Kanye West changed to someone else over here who had different thoughts, different morals, different beliefs. And so that was something that Jenna was immediately able to pick up and recognize. And so my thought of this was that, oh my God, everybody has clashing identities. And that's just the split theory that I have in mind. Based off of our own experiences and based off of the people's drama around us, these are things that I'm like, I can see that this is probably happening. But what makes us different is that I don't know if maybe if you ask yourself, do you also have memory gaps as well? Is that a thing? Do you guys communicate better to where you are just one fluid, single-minded looking person? Or can you say that there have been some unexplainable things where you're like, whoa, deja vu, I feel like I've been here before, but that wouldn't make any sense. Like, this looks familiar, but I don't think I've ever been here before. Or you wake up with bruises on your body, and you're like, I don't remember hurting myself. I'm just a guy, it just happens. Or for women, or even guys, I know that there's these memes that joke, and they're so funny because they connect with people at that level, but there was the Notebook meme where it's like, what do you want to eat? And she's like, I don't know. And that's an ongoing joke about women, is that they're so indecisive, but men can be indecisive too. And I'm using food as an example because people with split personalities can have a fridge full of food or pantry full, and you just can't figure out what you want. Those of you who are craving something and you're like, ugh, you can eat everything and still not get satisfied. You're just getting fat and angry at this point. I'm sorry, we switched in a this is Maria. So I will take over. So there are a lot of different signs to tell, and what Jenna was trying to say with food is that each of us have different taste buds. Each of us have different food choices or smells, and so if you are feeling that you're in the mood for something specifically, that just means that the person you are currently enjoys doing these things, enjoys eating these foods. Like, one of us likes hiking, but the rest of us are like, but one of us loves hiking. One of us loves stand-up paddleboarding. You just have to really expose yourself to a lot of different stimulants, activities. Really get to know yourself. Go out there and explore. If you're someone who you think you're just extremely introverted, start small. Try making friends online and see how you are. Or maybe pick up hobbies or things that make you happy, even if it's reading. Reading is something all of us love doing, but especially, and we have different genres of books. So, I hate to say it, but there are certain things and phrases that are said, like money can't buy you happiness. Money can definitely help you find happiness. There's, like, let's say you have a child and you want to expose your kid to as many different things. Like, as a mom, as a future mom, the way that I feel, I think that with us being split personalities, we would be phenomenal parents. If one of us needs to take a break, the other one will take over. And I think that we will teach our kid or kids very, very interesting, open viewings of the world. We ourselves are non-denominational. We're very accepting with different views and religions and in life, because we all view things so differently. It's so contradicting to be one way and completely dismiss a different view. So I guess the key to really mastering figuring yourself out as a split identity is figuring out the things that you enjoy doing. Be yourself. And to us, Twitch has been a way for us to be ourselves and to really express who we are with the help of this OBS Streamlab thing. This is really cool. Honestly, this is so much better than editing it. It takes a lot of time to edit. So this worked out really well. We still obviously use Snapchat as the main thing, but we do prefer, I prefer this. It saves me a lot of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching all of this, and if you feel that maybe this message hit you in a certain way that you're like, oh, maybe, or maybe you just dismiss it and we really are just yeah. Obviously, we're probably gonna piss a lot of people off. Thoughts are just opinions, but we would like to really explore the scientific things behind it. If we can get our hands on a heart monitor or even a lie detector, something that human technology now can actually prove biologically has changed with us, because physically we change. It's so crazy. Like, we would love to continuously prove ourselves and figure ourselves out, but so far the biggest lead is that we are several split different souls that share one vessel, and we feel that maybe we're still learning, I guess. I'll write down more theories of what we have, but we did not look into very much of dissociative identity disorder. We didn't look into learning too much of it. We were told by a friend that we met on Snapchat that was familiar with it. He's like, oh, I follow someone on YouTube and they go by as disassociated. And so we ended up watching 3 of their videos, and it educated us. You know, we weren't aware of the stigmas behind other people like us and how they managed. It was really cool how you can see them switch, just like how when we switch, it just kind of was just like, cool. So then you can do that too. I think that they just don't switch as often. We haven't watched more than just 3, because as I started watching and as they were explaining and educating their fans and followers and viewers, it didn't sit well with me. I was thinking that we're so different and yet so very much the same, and so this is this whole purpose of us coming out and explaining ourselves is just to kind of educate our friends, our fans, our followers, how we ourselves view ourselves. And we just want to continue to be successful. We want to show you all of our own personal jobs, our feelings. You can talk to us. You'll get to know us as individuals. So it's really fun. You never feel alone, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually really comforting as we get to know each other. You're extremely productive. You're successful. Like we literally have 16 sources of income coming through. So I mean, like I said, numbers show there's just only so much we can do. We've already shown you who we are, what we think. So I guess from this point on, if you want to continue like getting to know us, you can always reach out to us. If you have questions, let us know. We'll write down the YouTube links and everything. But yeah, today was a little different. We did block off all the chats with this because it can be very distracting. Ooh. There's so many people. Okay, so we'll read over everybody's messages, we'll type down questions, and then we'll just peace out. And I think the next streaming that we'll do, we'll actually let Pixie play a game. This has been something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and now I realize that the reason why we haven't been able to focus on actually moving in is because it has been bothering me so much that we've had all these people that I've been talking to ask us, you know, questions, and I feel like I have answers. I'm like, I really want to properly introduce us to the world. I think that once people can actually see us as we are, then this would be a really good opportunity for people to really get to know us. So maybe require some long text lines, so we could probably lower the setting. Yeah, I agree. It's a great stream. Thank you guys. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and end this stream, and thank you so much for all of you who stayed with us and listened to us just talk. So, all right, have a good day. Bye.